Let's talk some St. John's hoops. We have definitely brought up Rick Pitino's team, this very interesting, talented group, multiple times throughout the offseason on various full episodes. I don't know how much we've done like single, split off, one off St. John's videos. So, hi, St. John's fans. If any of you are here, hopefully we cover this team a lot this year, and that means good things are happening. St. John's had a scrimmage yesterday. And in the scrimmage, Oziyah Sellers was the star. 30 points, 7 assists to 1 turnover, made 6 threes. Now, Ian Jackson had 17 and 7. Zuby Ejiofor had 24 and 14. I would even argue the guy with 24 and 14 is probably the star, although, shit, 30 and 7 is insane too. A lot of guys played well, is the point here. We know this team is super talented. The interesting thing that came out of this, though, was a quote from Rick Pitino. And Pitino said after this scrimmage, Oziyah Sellers is his starting point guard. He repeatedly referred to Oziyah as, quote, the starting point guard. Dylan Darling was referred to as, quote, the backup point guard throughout this press conference. Now, I am not the only person to note this, but this caught a lot of people by surprise for a variety of reasons. Reason number one, we were told that Ian Jackson was brought in to start at point guard. In fact, when Ian Jackson chose St. John's, Rick Pitino basically gave a quote saying, "We got our next point guard." Sounds like this is changing if Oziyah is the starting point guard. Secondly, this surprised a lot of national media people because, as Kevin Sweeney put it yesterday on Twitter, Oziyah Sellers, with 71 assists in 93 career games, is tracking to be St. John's' starting point guard. In essence, Sellers isn't a point guard. He has basically never been a successful passer ever. So if that's the starting point guard, St. John's is entering the season without a starting point guard, no matter how good Sellers looked in this scrimmage. Lastly, here before I throw it to you, there's a whole media push going on right now coming out of yesterday. I believe the New York Post has an enormous article about Ian Jackson, framed under Ian Jackson striving for greatness under big push from Pitino, all about the tough love that Rick Pitino is giving Ian Jackson. So this could all be one big calculated, we got to get Ian Jackson going move. Like, I'm going to hit the media and basically say he's our third string point guard 24 hours before the New York Post does a profile on how important he is to this team, and I'm being tough on him. I don't know what it is. We know there's a lot of moving parts here, but Oziyah Sellers is St. John's' starting point guard coming into the season. Do you buy this, and is this good or bad for St. John's?
Um, I don't know that I don't buy it, I guess. I don't know. I feel like if I was Coach Pitino, which by the way, that would be sick. But like I don't think I don't think I would name like I just don't think I would have a point guard. Like I don't think in basketball anymore it's so positionless. You're looking for ball handlers, people that can initiate an offense, people that can make a pass, like so on and so forth. Like I don't think you need a specific point guard. Obviously, having a specific point guard works extremely well. If you have Braden Smith, that's exactly what you want. But I think some teams are built without point guards. I mean, even if you look at the NBA level, right? Like, I can name you the 10 best point guards in the league. Six of them aren't necessarily point guards, right? Like some of them, like there's very few pure Tyrese Halliburtons. There's a lot of De'Aaron Foxes that are like kind of a point guard, kind of a two. I think you can say the same thing for college basketball, and I think you could utilize Sellers, Ian Jackson, maybe even Bryce Hopkins a little bit to initiate offense in like a point guard role. But like, I don't think you need a specific point guard because you don't have one on this roster. So you just have to play basketball in a different manner. To me, the biggest person that this is an indictment on, all of this, by the way, is I don't know how to say his first name, but Seinon, Josan Seinon.
Jason Sanan.
Yeah, Josan Seinon. What happened, big dog? Like you were before Ian committed, he was the guy, I felt like, for St. John's. And now we're talking about Sellers. Ian, he's not really getting mentioned. Um, to me, he's the one that really should have stepped up to the plate. Like I think Ian Jackson playing a combo guard role is exactly what you would expect. Sellers playing a combo guard role is exactly what you would expect. Sellers having to play point guard is not what you would necessarily expect, but I don't think it's ridiculous to say Ian and Sellers are going to share ball handling duties.
Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girl sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife, love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more. Okay. This is bad though, right? Unless it's just fuel for Ian Jackson. But I guess I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say it's bad, but like to me, it's been undeniable that they built this roster without a natural point guard. And that's not good, even if even if St. John's is good, right? You want your team to have everything. And they're a top 10 team that's loaded, but also like very clearly doesn't have a point guard. They got a roster full of shooting guards that they're going to try and have somebody bring the ball up. And I guess this was even described with Sellers. If he's point guard 1, he's just going to bring the ball up and then be a shooter in the half court. But again, to me, that means you don't have a point guard. So the most intriguing part of this to me is how he played in the scrimmage. Because shit, 7 assists in a scrimmage. Something's working. If he had 30 and 7, then maybe he's just a player who's capable of doing something he's never been asked to do. I am intrigued by it. But I also think it's more likely to me that this is probably just trying to get Ian Jackson going in some way. Maybe Ian Jackson's had a couple bad practices. Maybe some bad habits from Carolina have carried over. And we know Rick Pitino's not going to deal with bad habits. Ian Jackson had a few bad habits at Carolina last year. So maybe this is kind of a last ditch effort to get him going. I do still believe if it were up to Rick Pitino in a best case scenario world, he would rather have Ian Jackson be the point guard on this team and be a star point guard. But the reason we all kind of looked at this sideways when he signed was because Ian Jackson hasn't proven that he's a good point guard. So you got a bunch of guys that want to score basketball first, trying to battle it out for point. Other than Dylan Darling, who, if Dylan Darling like really did emerge as the best point guard, they would have a true facilitator. But if he's behind Sellers to start the year, I think that tells you where it's going. And look, none of this is to say St. John's can't win a national title without this. They can. They're a top 10 team. They're loaded. They're very good. But they also don't have a point guard. And these quotes are reinforcing what we thought was true. They're going to try and be the Big East champs without a point guard this year. It's fascinating.
I mean, it's not good. You know what I mean? Like to answer your question from earlier, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad either, though. I just think it's unorthodox. But I don't know how unorthodox it is either, though, because like Florida last year, obviously Walter Clayton was the point guard. I don't know that I would consider like Walter Clayton like the point guardiest of point guards in the world. You know what I mean? Like if you go down the list of like I just Houston, Milos Uzan, he's a point guard, but is he the point guardiest of point guards? Like I don't know that there's like that many true point guards in college basketball. So I don't think it's good because you'd rather just have a point guard and you'd rather be solidified on what your team's going to look like but I think Patino could make it work. I also think it could blow up in Patino's face pretty easily as well.
Yeah. Yep. It's a risk, but it's just reinforcing what we thought was true all offseason to me. Like, we're kind of like, yeah, who's the point guard going to be? They don't have one. Sellers is the best option. That means Sellers is probably very good, but it'll probably be clunky in the half court from time to time. They'll have to win with defense and talent, rebounding. They can still certainly do that. So, if anything from this, the biggest takeaway for me would be two things. One, Ian Jackson seems like he's in the doghouse early. That's ominous. Two, Sellers might be awesome given what he did in that scrimmage. That's a really, really positive development.